Yeah, so in these 10 weeks, what I try to focus on would be some basic, uh, basic experiential knowledge, combining spiritual teachings with therapeutical teachings. The spiritual teachings are designed to jumpstart our true self, our consciousness, to be more awake, without which we are we have no choice but to be unhappy and unconscious mechanical robots. So the spiritual teachings were meant to make us more conscious, and the various therapeutical modalities are meant to help us learn how to do with our sense of suffering and to bring some skillful, intelligent way of processing our suffering. So, and of course, this is just a basic in 10 weeks, you know, it's hard to condense decades and millennia of teachings through the limitation of time and limitation of Mihai. But yeah, my hope is that you guys got a sense that of various important realizations that that there is something that is aware of thoughts and sensations and feelings and sounds, that there is awareness. There's awareness and that is different than a thought or a feeling. And then this is more our essential nature, something we can trust. And that life is better if we are more conscious rather than lost in daydreaming, churning. If we are more asleep, less conscious, we are churning misery loops. So we learn all kind of tools to remind ourselves to come back to the present moment and engage the senses. And have some basic type of witnessing and presence work. Yeah, encourage the playlist called Toolbox of Practices. It's full of very practical methods that I learned to increase frequency of conscious presence and duration. And all right, so we did that. And towards the end, I alluded, especially last time, that there is the question, who am I? What is aware? Yeah. So if we go deeper into these being practices, if you guys choose to do that with me or with someone else, anything to do with witnessing, with meditation, with awareness, sooner or later will take you to what is aware, actually, what is aware, and to issue of identity. And that's a worthy pursuit, like to find out our true identity. A lot of spiritual, high lofty spiritual teachings, all of them, they allude that evolution is about a shift of identity. I used to believe I am a man that is not good enough, that has all these problems and these traumas, to I realize I am this mysterious aware being, which is already fulfilled, and it is love itself, and it is conscious. I am this conscious, that out of which comes out all of this life. So yeah, then what we've done in this module was that I wanted to be practical, to learn some simple ways that can be portable to deal with feelings and sensations. and to we learn how to mine, to know that in the body there is not just the mind is not separate from the body, so that when we have stirrings in the body, tensions, contractions, feelings, they have a hidden story in it. They have something to say. So hopefully we all remember that when you have some stirring, to go there and see what it says, to check both the body and the thought form if you want to witness something thoroughly. We learn also about mining images, finding the meaning in images that keep recurring, or memories. If we have a strong memory that means something. We found out, hopefully, that it's, to become aware of the emotional body, at least a preliminary sense of awareness of our emotional body, to, as we are more present and less checked out, to keep inner awareness in the chest, belly, throat, where we have our feelings, and to not be disconnected, and to allow, to notice, to be in touch with what's happening and allow it. That is such a simple teaching, yet we are never taught to be aware of what's happening, to listen to the knot, the anxiety, the tension, the throbbing, and to identify what's the feeling in it. Oh, I'm angry, I'm afraid, I'm sad, and to allow yourself to have it, to let it be, without going into a big story about it. So the welcoming of feelings, this is big topic, and the not resisting of it. At the same time, there is a lot of our feelings and sensations are actually suppressed and repressed. So that's tricky, because sometimes there is some unpleasantness, but we don't know what it is. So we learned some simple way to try to, using the vulnerability inquiry, the Kilby inquiry is vulnerability. I don't know what's happening. I'm not sad. No, I'm not. I'm afraid. Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah, I'm afraid. Yeah, I'm afraid. I'm afraid. Unpacking a cluster of emotion to identify each emotion. We learn how to let the emotion be allowed. And also we learned about that due to wounding and trauma, we got a bunch of deficiencies, story identity, some corrupt programs. That when I work with people on one-on-one, that's my goal. I want to identify these core programs early and have the person know them. Okay, I feel like I cannot be myself. I have to hide. There's something wrong with me, and don't trust love. Okay, so we have this. We need to know this. We all, each one of us, have some programs like that with different variations. So those create suffering. Those are the conditioning. They were created by a child. They are ultimately not true. They sabotage our life, create misery. So the work is to know them and to start to deprogram them. First, by witnessing them a lot, understanding what's the utility of them, started to witness them and process the feeling, basically to process the feeling out of these things. So anyway, we learned about these core programs, and we learned how to use triggers. We learned the boomerang, hopefully. Whenever there's a current trigger in the current life, in the present, to stop and notice what's happening and see what old button of mine has been pushed. We boomerang. Oh yeah, I'm pissed because I believe that there's something wrong with me, or I believe that I can't be myself, or something. So we identified the cause of trigger. They say trauma doesn't come as a memory all the time, comes as a reaction. So when there's a reaction in our relationships, that's past trauma. So we identify the boomerang, and some basic ways to process, which means to bring to awareness some of these imprints. And 10 weeks is not enough to get mastery or to get proficient, but it is enough for you to know if you are interested in it, and you might have discovered certain things, and so you will most likely you may want to go deeper. So there's way to go, and because this deprogramming it has been a lifetime of programming. It doesn't go right away. So my experience needs a few. Once we get to good teaching, once we have good maps with good tools, it still needs to some years, a few years of thorough deprogramming once we get good tools. But I got to good tools like very late, so I did many years of like clumsy deprogramming, and a lot of these years I didn't know that I had some issues. So I was, so I'm trying to make a shortcut for people who come to me. So what is more, let's say if I were to continue, or let's say I told you guys that although this module ends, I do a next module that I do, which is ongoing with people who already been through this once or twice, or I work with them one-on-one. And so there we are, basically staying on track with deprogramming deficiency stories, deprogramming relational patterns that create unfulfillment, and going to this, what Scott Kilby calls the third dimension of work, to repression. And so to rescue our authenticity, which will look like that we became so sensitive and so conscious, and we don't have a lot of these stories of not enough in our head. We don't believe this shit anymore. It's like, whatever, man, it was bullshit. However, we may have repression in our body. So the way to go is to train ourselves to no longer resist the current feelings we have, and to allow them, to feel them fully, to be informed by our feelings, to be able to say no, to put boundaries, to ask for what we want, to get upset. So we have an emotional range, and we can express. And also we are working on undoing the past repression. You know, some of us have some area of primary repression of which is some feelings or some type of behavior. You know, could be a repression of sexuality, of pleasure, of love, together with anger, or could be sadness and fear. And I believe everybody has fear. We all have fear, and we learn how to not feel it. So, yeah. So if you guys want to continue, you are welcome to talk to me. I can tell you what is available. Yeah. Otherwise, I hope that you know, just keep whatever made sense to you, and I actually invite you to contemplate, and we can share now a little bit what you feel like was useful for you, or you carry with you, or what area you are interested to pursue on your own, or somehow anything that you want to take with, together with any questions or anything you want to bring. We can do this now.